Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to another game spotlight on another indie game that looks kinda cool. It's a game called Empyrion, Galactic Survival. It's a game that looks almost like a cross between Minecraft and Space Engineers, but it's also got a couple other mechanics in there. It looks to blend a bunch of different styles of gameplay, and I was lucky enough to get in touch with the games developer, Empyrion Studios, on Twitter, and they were kind enough to give me a demo copy of the game. So before we get started, just in case there's any concerns to this fact, there's no incentive for me to do this video. They're not paying me. They just sent me a demo of the game and said, hey, if you like it, feel free to do a video talking about it, and if you don't have to. So it's not like, you know, they're paying me to do this spotlight or anything. This is just, I think it looks pretty neat. It's definitely a very early alpha of the game, though. There's very much not implemented yet. There's very much not finished yet. It's more or less a technical demo of here's our game engine, here's what we're trying to do with it, but there's still a long way to go. They are currently a Kickstarter, so I'll put the link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video if you guys are interested in it. You know, feel free to look into it, check it out. It's definitely looks like a pretty cool game. It has a lot of potential. So without further ado, let's take a look at Empyrion Galactic Survival. So in the technical demo, there's not even the option to start a new game, fresh. What they've done is built three scenarios, three basic pre-built worlds for you to get into and play with and check out. Unfortunately, this demo is not publicly available, but they do plan to have a demo that's publicly available in the future, I think for Kickstarter backers. You're going to have to check out their Kickstarter page for all the details on that. So let's load up one of the first technical demo areas, Omicron. So in this scenario, you're on a planet. What I believe the concept of the game is that you'll start on a planet. There won't be a base here like there is. It'll just be like an empty desert planet, and you'll probably have a few basic materials to get started with. You can see here I'm walking around, so the environment looks pretty nice. It's a very cool bit of terrain. There's a skybox here, right? So everything's kind of implemented mostly as terrain gen, right? And it will be, in this regard, similar to Minecraft. So you've got an inventory, right? You've got some tools. One of them, for example, is a drill. The main purpose of this is to mine in the earth. Cool. There's probably going to be several different types of drills available to the player, so I'm not sure exactly, you know, what their plans are for different types of technology for mining, but this is the basic drill, I believe, that will allow you to drill into the earth and go hunting for some minerals that you can use to build different things. Pretty neat device. Actually, it's very cool. I could definitely use something like this. I think it's a lot of fun. You can see, right, terrain deformation looks pretty nice. It's not all blocky, right? There's, you know, it's just deforming and you're drilling into the world like so. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, any resources that you do get, you'll be able to pick up and carry around in your inventory. And I'll show you that in a minute. There's a resource cluster not far from here that we'll go check out in just a minute. Now, eventually, you'll be able to construct blocks that you can use to build a base. So you can see here's a pre-constructed base that they've set up for us. In this demo, there's no real crafting implemented just yet. However, there is a creative menu, which you can see here. There's basically two types of blocks. There's building blocks, which are all these guys, and there's tools. So you can see there's a bunch of different weapons that are available, a bunch of different ores that are available, some food, and a couple of the little devices. But then blocks. So for example, just like you might expect, you can walk around and, you know, build with these blocks, etc., etc. Pretty cool. And there's just a handful of blocks in the technical demo, but of course you can imagine there'll be a lot more stuff available down the line. So, you know, I'm not that great of a builder, I'm just showing you the basics, but I'll show you some of the stuff that the team who've made this game has built for us. So I guess the initial phase would be you're on the planet, you have to do a couple things just to survive, right? So you need to get a base built. Those doors are pretty cool, by the way. I really like those doors. You can get those in the creative menu too, somewhere in here. Let's see. I know they're in here somewhere. I would just have to find it. I'll find it later. There's cargo boxes, right? So in here, there's a cargo box that has a bunch of different weapons inside of it. I'll show you some of the weapons in a minute that are available. This one looks like it has some ore inside. So whoever lives in this base has been out mining. There's a couple modules as well inside the base. Not all of them are implemented as usable yet, but some of them are. Inside this room looks to be some kind of little area where you can grow some food. You can collect this food. You'll notice on the bottom left of my screen there's 3 meters there: health, food, and oxygen. So for example, if I were to take some of this food and eat it, just by right clicking I think, or left clicking, there we go, it filled up my food bar a little bit. These modules here, I've checked out, doesn't look like they're implemented just yet either, but that's okay. And then another door that leads out to the back of the base. There's also an elevator block, which I'll show you in a moment here. This looks like the power room. So in here is, this block is a constructor. This is the only form of crafting that's currently available in the technological demo, but basically you place different minerals in the inventory here. So let's see if there's a cargo box nearby with some minerals there. There is. So I can snag these minerals, throw them in my inventory. And then I can place the minerals inside the constructor. So just place them in the inventory slots here. And you'll notice that some of the construction objects are now available to me. So I'm guessing this is one of probably several mechanics that will be available for crafting in the game. So now we were able to craft this electronic component, which can be used to make other things, right? So we can use the steel plate here. That'll go into the construction queue, get crafted, and then eventually dropped out to the inventory. Pretty neat. There's also a power station, so you need to power your base. That has, and currently there's this material called promethium ore. When you take that out, you'll notice that the lights go out and kind of the base shuts down. So you will need to keep your power systems powered up. So there we go, the lights are back on. There will be an oxygen system, so you'll notice there's oxygen on the bottom left. It's currently not implemented. So some planets will have oxygen, other planets will not, and you'll need to have oxygen, for a bunch of different things. This, I believe, is an elevator, so you should be able to just kind of, it's like an anti-grav elevator almost, so you can kind of, just float up it. And then out here, we have a nifty little turret. So there will be NPCs that will eventually be attacking your base. Some planets, I guess, will have NPCs, some will not. You can get into the turret by just hitting O here, and pretty cool. Obviously, you would have to craft this turret as well. And all of this base would be built by the player, right? So you place down your blocks, you build your base, etc. See, here's some of the oxygen plants that you got, and some more cargo space outside. Very cool. So overall, this base is pretty nice looking. You can also kind of float all the way up to the top level here. You can see some windows so you can look out along the terrain. Neat stuff, right? So it's a pretty nice looking game so far. Considering that this is really just a very early access technological demo, this looks like another turret of some sort, but it doesn't look like I can get inside and shoot it yet. Maybe that's an automated turret. I don't know. This is a, player control. Pretty neat. You also have a jetpack, so I think hit J to activate it. Right now, it doesn't look like there's any, need to power the jetpack, but I'm guessing at some point in the future there will be, so hit J to power the jetpack and J to turn it off. You can also jump into third-person view. You can see your guy there walking around or running, or you can even, see what he looks like when he's got a gun in his hand or the mining equipment. Pretty cool. So let's head over and take a look at some mining. Now, if we wanted to, we could take a look at the map. And you'll notice that there's a bit of a resource deposit over here. And we can zoom out the map a little bit, see what some of the rest of the planet looks like from afar. There's actually another mineral deposit way up there. But let's go to this one that's pretty close by. I could walk over, but what's the fun in walking when we're playing a game that's built around ships? So one of the things you'll probably build after an initial base will be a basic ship. So this is just a small ship, it looks like. You can see there's a couple guns on it, and just like the base, you'll be able to build the ship. So anyone who's played something like Space Engineers, it's somewhat similar to that, in that you can build a ship, you can put thrusters on it, there's a landing gear down there, and you can build the ship however you want. And I've been told by the developers that basically the way you design your ship will also control how it handles. So, long and thin ships will be a little bit harder to turn, and the more mass you put on it, the more thrusters you're going to have to put on it. So the bigger the ship you make, the larger the thrusters you're going to need, the more fuel it's going to consume, and the slower it'll move until you get more and more thrusters on it. So right now in the tech demo, we should be able to jump into the spaceship's cockpit. There we go. Pretty nice looking. You can jump out to third person here as well and take a look. So I can blast off and start flying across the landscape. This thing also has a couple basic weapons as well. It's got Gatling guns and it's got lasers. Pretty neat looking. You can also kind of do a barrel roll, because everybody likes to do a barrel roll. Hooray! Fly around upside down. And just check out the terrain. So let's fly over to where the mineral deposit is. I think it's right over here. And we can go check it out. Nice, right? I think the mineral deposit, there it is, I see it. So let's go land. There we go, that looks pretty good. Hop out of the ship and go find that mineral deposit that we saw. So this is your mineral deposit, and you can of course mine just like you would mine the terrain, and when you mine a mineral deposit you'll notice that a bunch of ores are popping out here and collecting, and you can pick them up with the O key, and it'll allow you to pick things up. Early on in the game, it's intended that the player will be responsible for mining by himself. However, they do plan to have kind of a tech tree of upgrades that you can eventually get. So you'll eventually be able to build automated mining systems. There'll be some robots and drones that'll do some mining for you. There'll be some machines that you can build that'll automate some of the mining. And different planets in the game will wind up having different resources. So once you leave your base planet, right, the one you start on, you'll be able to start exploring other planets and find other minerals to build other more advanced technologies and resources. Pretty cool. So the basic premise is, like I said, you start on a desert world, you do some basic mining, build yourself a base, some defenses, start growing some food, and then eventually build yourself a small ship. And then once you've got that done, you can hop out into space. So at the current time in the tech demo, there's no way to just transition from the planet to space, but they do plan for that to be a seamless transition. So it won't be like, all right, I want to go to space now, hit a button and there's a loading screen, right? Eventually they'll just be, you can just hop in your ship and fly up out of the planet, and they hope to have it seamless. So eventually you just, break through the atmosphere and you'll be in space. So I think we've mostly shown some of the things that are available on the technological demo here. You can see we'll head back over towards our base. Pretty cool stuff. You can also, by the way, shoot the base and it'll kind of destroy some components of it, I believe. Pretty neat. There were other weapons as well. I'll show you those real quick. And then we'll go check out what outer space looks like. So let's see here. Get out of jetpack mode. And let's see. I know there's like a pulse rifle. And there's a sniper rifle. I don't know if you can zoom in it just yet. But I'm imagining at some point you'll be able to zoom down the scope. I don't know if that's implemented just yet. And then, let's see here. We've also got just a basic pistol. And I think there's a couple other guns that the player doesn't start with. So let's see. There's a shotgun and a minigun. I'll show you a couple of these guys. Rocket launcher. I'm sure you guys want to see a rocket launcher, right? So let's check out the automatic shotgun. And of course, like I said, tech demo, right? It's pretty early in the development process, but you can see the rocket launcher obviously does a pretty good job of deforming the terrain or deforming your base if you happen to shoot at the base. Something that is totally doable. And there's explosions. What tech demo isn't complete without explosions? Pretty cool stuff. So, like I said, early version of the game, but it looks like they have some pretty good foundations already in place. There's obviously, terrain destruction, deformation, flight mechanics are in, character moving, and terrain generation seem to be in. So let's, oh look at that, my health is pretty low. You can see shooting a rocket launcher point blank range, probably not the best idea. So let's close out of this part and we'll switch over to maybe something out. So the next thing we can check out is Omicron orbit. So once you get out of the planet's atmosphere and into orbit, you're able to start building your mothership, which is going to be a much larger ship than the basic small one that you've got. So you can see the world loading in around me as I load up, and we're currently inside a mothership. Cool. So first off, I'll show you, you can actually hop over here. You can pilot the mothership, right? So we've got this big, huge ship, way much larger than the small little ship. We can actually see in the hangar there's a couple small ships that are available to hop into, and we can fly this thing around. I'll show you that in a minute. But let's take a look around inside the ship. So it's kind of like a space station slash mothership, right? You can fly it around, but you can also walk around inside of it. And there's cargo boxes in here, there's weapons, there's an elevator. So if we jump down this elevator real quick, we can run outside and take a look at, for example, some of the ships that are being, made in our hangars. So this is a completed ship. It's available in the hangar. We can hop inside. There we go. Cool. And we can just fly out of the hangar if we want. Nice, and we can fly around in space. You can see the planet. That's the planet that we were on, Omicron. And eventually, once the game is more developed, there'll be multiple star systems and multiple planets that you can go explore. The developer said they were looking at something like warp drive to be able to eventually go between star systems. I don't know if that's exactly how it'll work just yet. There'll also, of course, be asteroids that you can mine. I've just got some basic weapons on the ship here. But some pretty cool stuff, right? If there was any resources in here, you could probably mine them up somehow. I don't know if they'll have mining drills or some kind of mining laser, but that's some neat stuff. You can also see there's a moon in the background that we'll be checking out shortly. But now that we've kind of explored a little bit in space, let's get back into our ship. So I'm going to see if I can navigate this thing back into the hangar. I don't know how good of a job I'll do flying it. I've had very little practice, but it wasn't so bad. So I can get out now, and you'll see that I'm back out of the ship. And I can start walking around again inside. Pretty cool, right? On the other side of this hangar, I believe there's a ship that's currently a work in progress, it looks like. So you can, of course, build these however you want, whatever designs you want to go with. This is a work-in-progress ship that's not fully implemented yet. You can see that, whoever lives in this mothership is starting to build a second little, explorer there. You can access the small fuel cells. That's cool. There's fuel cells, there's thrusters, and different ships will have different mechanics. On the Kickstarter page, they mentioned cloaking devices, they mentioned power plants. There's a whole bunch of different technologies that they're planning to have implemented. So these are fuel cells here, and there's a power station on the ship similar to the base. If you take the fuel out of, there's 3 fuel cells here, but if you take the fuel out of all 3 of them, again, lights will shut off. So the power systems are, somewhat getting started to be implemented. The oxygen system is not yet implemented. It looks like the player has their own suit, right, that they're wearing, so we can see I've got a spacesuit on, but there would be oxygen inside the ships, and they do have plans to make it so that you have to, some kind of resource, I guess, to keep oxygen flowing, and, make sure you have enough oxygen, because if you don't, then you're probably in a lot of trouble. So this ship is really kind of cool. You can, of course, walk around inside. Let's go for a little flight. Probably best to fly around in third-person mode in this ship. Pretty cool. Looks like I ran into an asteroid. Whoops. I don't think collisions are implemented just yet. Of course, when you fly into asteroids, it'll probably do some damage to your ships. Though I do believe they plan to have shields and stuff like that to help protect against that. But you can see, now normally you'd be able to hop into a small ship and get back onto the planet if you want. I don't know if you'll be able to land dropships or motherships on the planet like this, but you can see here you can approach the planet, and eventually it would be a smooth transition from the ship to the planet. You could go land if you wanted to. So right now in the small demo version that we have, there's just this one sector that you can fly around in. But like I said, eventually, I don't know if you can even access the map from here. Let's see. Yeah, Yeah, probably not, it looks like. But eventually there'll be a giant map, and you'll see some pictures on the website that I put in the description here. You can see some pictures of what they have planned. They have different sectors that you can travel to with different planets and star systems and a couple different cool things planned. So that mostly covers what space travel looks like so far. Of course, there's going to be a lot more, I hope. But it definitely, you know, the foundation is there, right? You can fly around these giant ships, you can walk around inside these giant ships, and you can, of course, build on them. So if we wanted to, we could add things. There's a bunch of different stuff here that you can add, obviously, right? So I think I can even search. So if I wanted to show you, there's an automatic door. Nice. So you can place down doors, and then whenever a player walks near them. The thing I like most about the doors is that they're not the exact same width as the players, so they're a little bit easier to walk through than some other games. But of course you can do lots of building and stuff. So if you wanted to have some windows, you know, all kinds of nifty little bits of building that you can do. Maybe I can't place windows just yet, but there's hole blocks, so I can do that. I can have a big red hole block. Cool. Nice, right? So that's the outer space system. I want to show you guys the moon real quick. So let's pop over to there. So if we load up the moon environment, what's neat to show off here is the way gravity works. So obviously we had gravity in the spaceship. There's apparently a gravity generator somewhere in there, and you'd of course have to install a gravity generator in your you know, mothership so that you can have gravity, you know, walking around. Now on the moon, which is where I'm at currently, there's slightly less gravity. So you'll notice when I jump, I don't have my jetpack on, but there's slightly less gravity. I fall more slowly than I did on the planet. I can jump higher than I was on the planet. So different planets and different moons will be different sizes and therefore have different types of gravity. And from what I understand from reading the Kickstarter page and talking with the developers a little bit, they plan to have all kinds of different environments in their procedurally generated galaxy. So, you know, you can find a planet that's heavily lava, one that has lots of forest and wildlife, maybe even some semi-intelligent life that you might have to fight. You might find moons like this that are desolate and unpopulated. Man, that's a nice looking star in the distance too. I like that. And of course, just like on the planet, you can mine here, right? So on the moon, you might find different resources, or you might find different things. And you can also hop into your small ship and fly around. So I guess the concept would be once you have a small ship or even a mothership, right? You could fly over to the moon, jump into your small ship, go down to the planet or the moon, and you know, fly around, access resources, and there's going to be lots of things to discover. So initially, not all technologies will be available to you. You'll have some basic technologies that you can access just by lieu of the fact that, you know, you do understand how to make basic things. But if you really want to access some more advanced technologies, you're going to have to start exploring the galaxy and run into other civilizations or discover other materials and resources that you can use to build with. Pretty cool. And with that, guys, I think that pretty much covers the pre-alpha demo of Empyrion Galactic Survival. Like I said, it's kind of a cross between Minecraft and Space Engineers, and there'll even be some first-person combat and shooting mechanics, so if you run into some enemies, you'll have to, you know, take care of them, right? Shoot them down, get rid of them. So lots of different mechanics that I think would make a pretty cool game. Like I said, it's very early in its alpha development stages. It is a Kickstarter, so if you guys want to go check it out, definitely do your research, right? Kickstarter, so you want to look into it, see if it's something that you're interested in helping out with. But really up to you guys. I think it looks like a pretty neat game, and I really hope to see them go somewhere with this game, because I could see it being a lot of fun to play. In reference to modding, they do have a question on their page there that, you know, questions whether or not modding is going to be implemented. They do want to support a modding environment. They, of course, have to get the initial game working first because they're currently focusing all of their development time on making this a functional and playable game. Right now, it's a technical demo. There's very little you can do that's, you know, beyond showing off the basic foundations and, you know, the functionality of the engine. But they do want to have, like, a fully fledged game before they can really support a modding community. But it is something that they have on their to-do list to make it so that modding support does exist. Alright guys, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you liked checking out this demo of Empyrion. Please do me a favor, leave me some feedback in the comments, both what you thought of this game, and like I said, I've done a couple videos now that are more spotlighting indie games and up-and-coming games. I'd like to hear your thoughts on, if you like that style of video for my channel, and if you want to continue to see, some other games that are up and coming, or that kind of thing. So give me feedback both about this game in particular and about how you guys like seeing this kind of content on my channel. I would definitely appreciate your feedback. I'll be reading all the comments. All right, guys. For now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed checking out Empyrion. Take it easy.